Question 1. A project manager is leading a software development project using an Agile approach. During a sprint review, stakeholders express concerns that the features demonstrated, while functional, do not fully align with their evolving business needs, which have shifted significantly since the initial planning. The project team feels frustrated as they delivered exactly what was committed for the sprint. What should the project manager do next to address this situation? A. Insist that the team complete the remaining planned features as per the original sprint backlog to maintain velocity. B. Revert to a predictive approach for the remaining work to gain more control over requirements. C. Facilitate a discussion to update the product backlog, reprioritize existing items, and potentially add new ones based on current stakeholder feedback. D. Escalate the stakeholder concerns to senior management, requesting a formal change request process. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion to update the product backlog, reprioritize existing items, and potentially add new ones based on current stakeholder feedback. In an Agile environment, continuous feedback and adaptation are crucial, especially when stakeholder needs evolve. The project manager, acting as a servant leader, should facilitate a collaborative discussion to update the product backlog, ensuring future work aligns with the latest business priorities. This approach allows the team to incorporate new understanding and reprioritize features, demonstrating agility and commitment to delivering value. Agile thrives on embracing change, so actively managing the product backlog is key to staying responsive. Remember, the product backlog is a living artifact that reflects the most current understanding of stakeholder needs. Question 2. A global infrastructure project is experiencing delays due to unforeseen regulatory changes in a key region. The project manager has identified a significant risk that could impact the project's ability to obtain final approval and deliver on time. The team has limited experience with this type of regulatory environment. What is the most effective proactive strategy for the project manager to address this uncertainty? A. Document the regulatory changes as a project issue and wait for a resolution from the legal department. B. Convene a risk workshop with relevant subject matter experts and stakeholders to develop specific response strategies, including contingency plans. C. Request additional budget from the project sponsor to cover potential fines and legal fees associated with non-compliance. D. Inform the team that the schedule must be accelerated to make up for lost time caused by external factors. Answer: B. Convene a risk workshop with relevant subject matter experts and stakeholders to develop specific response strategies, including contingency plans. Proactive risk management involves identifying potential threats and opportunities, then planning responses before they become issues. In this scenario, convening a risk workshop with subject matter experts and stakeholders is the most effective strategy as it allows for collaborative development of specific response strategies, including contingency plans, to mitigate the impact of the regulatory changes. This approach leverages collective knowledge and ensures a well-thought-out plan rather than just reacting to problems. Remember, identifying a risk is only the first step. Planning how to deal with it is what truly manages uncertainty. Question 3. A project team is struggling with frequent miscommunications, leading to rework and missed deadlines. Team members often work in silos and are reluctant to share information freely. The project manager observes low morale and decreasing productivity. Which action should the project manager prioritize to improve team performance? A. Implement a strict daily stand-up meeting policy to ensure everyone reports their progress. B. Mandate a new communication plan with formal reporting channels and detailed templates. C. Organize a team-building workshop focused on fostering trust, psychological safety, and open communication. D. Assign a dedicated communication manager to filter and distribute all project information. Answer: C. Organize a team-building workshop focused on fostering trust, psychological safety, and open communication. Low morale, miscommunication, and siloed work often stem from a lack of trust and psychological safety within the team. The project manager's priority should be to cultivate an environment where team members feel comfortable sharing ideas, admitting mistakes, and collaborating openly. A team-building workshop designed to foster trust and psychological safety directly addresses the root cause of these issues, creating a foundation for improved communication and productivity. Building a strong, cohesive team goes beyond just process, it requires cultivating healthy interpersonal dynamics. Question 4. A project manager is leading a complex project with a diverse set of internal and external stakeholders, some of whom have conflicting interests. The project sponsor emphasizes the importance of managing stakeholder expectations and ensuring their continued support throughout the project lifecycle. What is the most effective approach for the project manager to manage these stakeholder expectations proactively? A. Distribute weekly project status reports to all stakeholders to ensure they are consistently informed. B. Conduct regular one-on-one meetings with key stakeholders to understand their evolving needs and address concerns personally. C. Develop a detailed stakeholder engagement plan that categorizes stakeholders and outlines tailored communication and involvement strategies. D. Prioritize the demands of the most powerful stakeholders and communicate their decisions to others. Answer: C. Develop a detailed stakeholder engagement plan that categorizes stakeholders and outlines tailored communication and involvement strategies. Effective stakeholder management is crucial for project success, especially with diverse and potentially conflicting interests. A detailed stakeholder engagement plan allows the project manager to proactively categorize stakeholders by their interest, influence, and impact, and then tailor specific communication and engagement strategies for each group. This ensures that different stakeholders receive relevant information in a format that works for them, managing expectations and fostering support throughout the project lifecycle. Proactive planning helps you avoid surprises and build stronger relationships. Question 5. A project is in its execution phase, and the project manager notices that the team is consistently exceeding the budget for hardware procurement, despite initial estimates. Upon investigation, it's discovered that the procurement team is frequently opting for premium suppliers without sufficient justification. What should the project manager do first to address this cost deviation? A. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor for additional budget approval. B. Renegotiate contracts with the premium suppliers to secure better rates. C. Review the procurement management plan and the basis of estimates for hardware to identify discrepancies and enforce adherence to cost baselines. D. Instruct the procurement team to immediately switch to lower-cost suppliers, regardless of quality or delivery time. Answer: C. Review the procurement management plan and the basis of estimates for hardware to identify discrepancies and enforce adherence to cost baselines. When project costs deviate from the baseline, the first step is to understand why and then enforce the established controls. Reviewing the procurement management plan and the basis of estimates for hardware helps identify if there's a misunderstanding of the plan, a deviation from agreed processes, or an error in the original estimates. This allows the project manager to address the root cause, ensure adherence to the cost baseline, and make informed decisions about future procurements. Always check your plan first when deviations occur. Question 6. A project team working on a new product development project using an Agile framework is struggling with a high number of unresolved impediments and technical debt, slowing down their progress. The product owner is solely focused on delivering new features, while the Scrum Master feels overwhelmed. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager, or Scrum Master, in this context, to take? A. Encourage the product owner to allocate a percentage of future sprints to address technical debt and critical impediments. B. Create a separate, dedicated team to work solely on resolving impediments and technical debt. C. Document all impediments and technical debt and present them to senior management for a decision. D. Halt all new feature development until all existing technical debt is resolved and impediments are cleared. Answer: A. Encourage the product owner to allocate a percentage of future sprints to address technical debt and critical impediments. Technical debt and unresolved impediments can severely hinder long-term project velocity and product quality in Agile projects. The project manager, or Scrum Master in this context, should collaborate with the product owner to ensure these issues are prioritized and addressed. Allocating a dedicated portion of each sprint allows for continuous improvement and prevents the accumulation of unmanageable technical debt, balancing new feature development with system health. Addressing technical debt proactively is like keeping your car maintained, it prevents bigger problems down the road. Question 7. A project manager is leading a complex IT project with several interdependencies between different work packages. A key deliverable from one team is consistently delayed, impacting the start of activities for another team. This has led to frustration and potential schedule overruns. Which approach should the project manager use to best manage these interdependencies and potential delays? A. Implement a strict penalty system for teams that cause delays to incentivize on-time delivery. B. Resequence the entire project schedule to eliminate all dependencies, even if it means altering the project's scope. C. Utilize a dependency management tool or a visual board to track and communicate interdependencies, fostering proactive coordination and issue resolution. D. Assign a single team to complete all dependent work packages to avoid cross-team communication issues. Answer: C. Utilize a dependency management tool or a visual board to track and communicate interdependencies, fostering proactive coordination and issue resolution. Managing interdependencies is critical in complex projects to prevent cascading delays. Using a visual tool, such as a Kanban board or a dependency map, helps the project manager and teams clearly see and track the relationships between work packages. This transparency fosters proactive communication and coordination, enabling teams to anticipate impacts, collaborate on solutions, and resolve potential delays before they escalate. Visibility is key to managing complexity. Question 8. A software development project is nearing its release, but the project manager discovers that the user acceptance testing (UAT) environment is not fully representative of the production environment, potentially leading to undiscovered defects post-launch. The team wants to proceed with the planned release date. What should the project manager do in this situation? A. Proceed with the release as planned, assuming minor discrepancies will not cause major issues. B. Document the discrepancy as a known risk and transfer it to the operations team for post-launch monitoring. C. Delay the release to configure a more representative UAT environment and conduct thorough retesting. D. Advise the team to perform only high-level sanity checks in the existing UAT environment and move to production. Answer: C. Delay the release to configure a more representative UAT environment and conduct thorough retesting. Releasing software with known environmental discrepancies in testing is a significant risk to quality and can lead to major issues in production, impacting customer satisfaction and project success. The project manager's responsibility is to ensure the quality of deliverables. Therefore, delaying the release to properly configure the UAT environment and conduct thorough retesting is the most responsible action, even if it means missing the initial release date. Prioritizing quality over an arbitrary deadline is crucial for long-term project success and reputation. Question 9. A project manager is leading an innovative project with a high degree of uncertainty regarding technology choices and market acceptance. Traditional detailed upfront planning is proving ineffective, and stakeholders are demanding visible progress. Which development approach and life cycle should the project manager recommend for this project? A. Predictive life cycle, with a focus on extensive upfront planning and a comprehensive baseline. B. Iterative life cycle, allowing for early prototypes and stakeholder feedback loops. C. Hybrid life cycle, combining agile development for core features and a predictive approach for infrastructure. D. Adaptive life cycle, enabling continuous exploration, rapid feedback, and frequent adjustments to the product. Answer: D. Adaptive life cycle, enabling continuous exploration, rapid feedback, and frequent adjustments to the product. An adaptive life cycle, often associated with Agile methodologies, is best suited for projects with high uncertainty and rapidly changing requirements, like innovative new product development. This approach emphasizes continuous exploration, short iterations, rapid feedback, and frequent adjustments, allowing the team to learn and adapt quickly based on emerging information and market feedback. It ensures that the project remains aligned with evolving needs and provides visible progress more frequently. When uncertainty is high, flexibility is your greatest asset. Question 10. A large-scale project is being implemented across multiple departments. The project manager observes that some departments are not adhering to the new processes introduced by the project, leading to inefficiencies and resistance. What should the project manager do to improve adoption and reduce resistance? A. Mandate strict adherence to the new processes and escalate non-compliance to senior management. B. Conduct a comprehensive change readiness assessment and develop a tailored change management plan, including communication and training. C. Revert to the old processes for the non-compliant departments to avoid further disruption. D. Blame the department heads for lack of cooperation and request disciplinary action. Answer. B. Conduct a comprehensive change readiness assessment and develop a tailored change management plan, including communication and training. Resistance to new processes is a common challenge in large projects and requires a structured approach to change management. The most effective action is to proactively understand the reasons for resistance through a change readiness assessment and then develop a tailored change management plan. This plan should include targeted communication, training, and support to help departments understand the benefits and adapt to the new ways of working, fostering adoption rather than forcing compliance. Successful change is often about bringing people along, not just telling them what to do. Question 11. During a project's execution, a key team member unexpectedly resigns. This individual possessed unique expertise critical for an upcoming, complex technical task. The project manager is concerned about maintaining the project's schedule and quality. What is the project manager's best immediate course of action? A. Immediately begin recruiting a replacement with the exact same skill set, even if it causes a delay. B. Reassign the task to another team member without specific expertise, hoping they can learn on the job. C. Assess the impact on the project, then work with the team to identify potential internal resources, reallocate tasks, or seek external expertise while cross-training. D. Notify the sponsor about the resignation and recommend pausing the project until a new expert is found. Answer. C. Assess the impact on the project, then work with the team to identify potential internal resources, reallocate tasks, or seek external expertise while cross-training. The unexpected loss of a key team member requires a quick yet thoughtful response. The project manager should first assess the specific impact on the project's scope, schedule, and quality. Then, collaboratively with the team, explore multiple options such as leveraging existing team members, with cross-training, reallocating tasks, or seeking specialized external support. This pragmatic approach minimizes disruption and ensures continuity while actively managing the skill gap. Always remember to assess the situation before reacting and involve your team in problem solving. Question 12. A project manager is conducting a sprint review at the end of an iteration. While demonstrating the completed features, a key stakeholder raises a concern that one of the core functionalities implemented does not meet their fundamental business need, despite being built exactly as described in the user story. What concept does this situation primarily highlight the importance of for the project manager? A. Velocity tracking and reporting. B. Effective product backlog refinement and stakeholder collaboration during requirements elicitation. C. Thorough risk identification and mitigation planning. D. Detailed work breakdown structure, WBS, creation. Answer. B. Effective product backlog refinement and stakeholder collaboration during requirements elicitation. This scenario indicates a gap in understanding the true business need, even if the user story was technically implemented correctly. It underscores the critical importance of effective product backlog refinement, where user stories are continuously elaborated, prioritized, and understood, and robust stakeholder collaboration during requirements elicitation. Engaging stakeholders thoroughly during this process ensures that the defined requirements genuinely reflect their underlying business problems, preventing rework and ensuring value delivery. Make sure you're solving the right problem, not just a problem. Question 13. A project manager is planning for an upcoming project that involves significant legal and environmental compliance requirements. Failure to meet these could result in severe penalties and reputational damage. Which planning activity is paramount to address these concerns effectively? A. Developing a detailed resource management plan to ensure enough legal personnel are available. B. Creating a comprehensive stakeholder engagement plan to manage government relations. C. Integrating a robust compliance management strategy into the project's overall governance framework and planning processes. D. Focusing on agile development to quickly adapt to any emerging compliance issues. Answer: C. Integrating a robust compliance management strategy into the project's overall governance framework and planning processes. For projects with significant legal and environmental compliance requirements, it's not enough to just react. A proactive, integrated approach is necessary. The project manager must weave a robust compliance management strategy directly into the project's governance and all planning processes. This ensures that legal and environmental considerations are continuously monitored, managed, and adhered to throughout the entire project lifecycle, preventing costly penalties and protecting the organization's reputation. Compliance isn't just a checklist, it's a fundamental part of responsible project delivery. Question 14. A project manager is overseeing a complex software development project. The project team is comprised of highly skilled individuals, but they frequently encounter communication breakdowns when discussing technical solutions, leading to misunderstandings and rework. What action should the project manager take to improve this situation? A. Implement mandatory daily progress reports to track individual contributions. B. Facilitate regular technical review meetings to ensure shared understanding and promote collaborative problem solving. C. Assign a technical lead to make all critical technical decisions, reducing team discussions. D. Restructure the team into smaller, independent subteams to minimize communication overhead. Answer: B. Facilitate regular technical review meetings to ensure shared understanding and promote collaborative problem solving. Technical communication breakdowns often occur when team members have different interpretations of requirements or solutions. Facilitating regular technical review meetings provides a dedicated forum for team members to openly discuss designs, address potential issues, and achieve a shared understanding of complex technical solutions. This promotes collaborative problem solving, reduces misunderstandings, and ultimately minimizes rework, improving overall project efficiency. Creating opportunities for deep technical discussions builds a stronger, more aligned team. Question 15. A project is nearing its closure phase. The project manager is conducting a final review of all project documentation, including lessons learned, final reports, and contract closure documents. The goal is to ensure that all administrative aspects are properly handled before the project formally ends. What is the primary purpose of meticulously completing these activities during project closure? A. To ensure all project team members receive their final performance reviews. B. To formally release project resources and close all financial accounts. C. To facilitate organizational learning, establish best practices, and support future project initiatives. D. To confirm that all project deliverables have been successfully transitioned to the operational team. Answer: C. To facilitate organizational learning, establish best practices, and support future project initiatives. While releasing resources and closing finances are part of project closure, the primary purpose of meticulously completing documentation like lessons learned and final reports is to facilitate organizational learning. By capturing experiences, successes, failures, and best practices, the organization can continuously improve its project management processes, leading to greater efficiency and success in future projects. Think of it as leaving a valuable roadmap for those who come after you. Question 16. A project manager is leading a project where the scope is well defined, but there is significant uncertainty regarding the best technological solution to achieve the desired outcome. The team is innovative and prefers experimenting. Which development approach and life cycle is most suitable for this scenario? A. Predictive life cycle, given the well-defined scope. B. Iterative life cycle, allowing for repeated cycles of planning, analysis, design, and development to refine the solution. C. Adaptive life cycle, due to the high uncertainty of the technological solution. D. Hybrid life cycle, combining predictive planning for scope and adaptive for solution development. Answer: B. Iterative life cycle, allowing for repeated cycles of planning, analysis, design, and development to refine the solution. An iterative life cycle is ideal when the overall scope is relatively clear, but the optimal way to achieve it, the solution, is uncertain or complex. This approach allows the project team to build the product through repeated cycles of planning, analysis, design, and development, incorporating feedback and lessons learned at each iteration to refine the solution progressively. Unlike an adaptive approach which might change the what, iterative focuses on refining the how. It's like sculpting a statue, you know what you want to create, but you refine it piece by piece. Question 17. A project manager has identified a significant risk. A key vendor for specialized components might not be able to deliver on time, potentially delaying the project by several weeks. The project budget is tight, making it difficult to find an alternative vendor quickly. What is the best risk response strategy for this situation, considering the constraints? A. Accept the risk and hope the vendor delivers on time. B. Transfer the risk by taking out an insurance policy against vendor delays. C. Mitigate the risk by identifying a backup vendor, establishing a communication plan, and exploring options for partial early delivery from the primary vendor. D. Avoid the risk by changing the project scope to eliminate the need for the specialized components. Answer: C. Mitigate the risk by identifying a backup vendor, establishing a communication plan, and exploring options for partial early delivery from the primary vendor. Mitigation aims to reduce the probability or impact of a risk event to an acceptable level. In this scenario, identifying a backup vendor, improving communication with the primary vendor, and exploring early delivery options are all proactive mitigation strategies. These actions directly reduce the likelihood of a significant delay or lessen its impact, without completely eliminating the need for the component or incurring excessive cost. Proactive mitigation is about taking sensible steps to make a bad outcome less likely or less severe. Question 18. A project manager is leading a distributed team across different time zones. Despite using collaborative tools, the project manager observes a decline in team cohesion, with some members feeling isolated and disengaged. What is the most effective way for the project manager to improve team cohesion and engagement in this distributed environment? A. Increase the frequency of formal written reports and email communications. B. Schedule mandatory daily video conferences at a time convenient for all, regardless of personal schedules. C. Implement virtual team-building activities, encourage informal video calls, and promote shared virtual workspaces to foster a sense of connection. D. Assign individual tasks with minimal cross-team dependencies to reduce the need for interaction. Answer: C. Implement virtual team-building activities, encourage informal video calls, and promote shared virtual workspaces to foster a sense of connection. For distributed teams, maintaining cohesion and preventing isolation requires intentional effort to replicate the informal interactions of co-located teams. Implementing virtual team-building activities, encouraging informal video calls, and leveraging shared virtual workspaces helps create a sense of connection, camaraderie, and psychological safety. This fosters trust and makes team members feel more engaged and part of a unified group. Building a strong team culture is just as important virtually as it is in person. Question 19. A project manager is preparing for a review meeting with key stakeholders. The project dashboard currently shows several metrics, including schedule variance, cost variance, and the number of open defects. The project is facing some challenges, and the project manager wants to ensure stakeholders receive clear, actionable information. Which principle from PMBOK 7th edition is the project manager primarily demonstrating by focusing on providing relevant, actionable insights? A. Stewardship. B. Value. C. Tailoring. D. Measurement. Answer: D. Measurement. The measurement performance domain emphasizes evaluating project progress against planned performance and adapting to improve future outcomes. By focusing on providing clear, actionable insights from metrics like schedule and cost variance, and open defects, the project manager is demonstrating the principle of measurement. This involves providing sufficient information to stakeholders to understand the current status, identify trends, and make informed decisions, ensuring the project stays on track and delivers value. Effective measurement isn't just about collecting data, it's about making that data meaningful. Question 20. A new stakeholder has recently joined the project and expresses concern about the project's progress and deliverables. This stakeholder was not part of the initial stakeholder analysis and seems to have a high level of influence. What should the project manager do first regarding this new stakeholder? A. Dismiss their concerns, as they were not part of the initial planning. B. Immediately share all project documentation with them to bring them up to speed. C. Conduct a new stakeholder analysis to understand their influence, interest, and potential impact, and then update the stakeholder engagement plan. D. Ask the project sponsor to manage this new stakeholder's expectations. Answer: C. Conduct a new stakeholder analysis to understand their influence, interest, and potential impact, and then update the stakeholder engagement plan. Stakeholder identification and analysis are ongoing processes throughout the project lifecycle. When a new, potentially influential stakeholder emerges, the project manager's first step should be to understand their role, influence, interest, and potential impact on the project. This involves conducting a focused stakeholder analysis and then updating the stakeholder engagement plan to incorporate appropriate communication and management strategies. Proactively understanding new stakeholders helps you manage their expectations effectively and maintain project support. Question 21. A project team is using Scrum for developing a new mobile application. During a sprint retrospective, the team identifies that the frequent context switching between multiple, unrelated user stories is hindering their focus and overall productivity. What adjustment should the Scrum Master/project manager suggest for future sprints? A. Increase the sprint duration to allow more time for each user story. B. Reduce the number of user stories committed per sprint and focus on completing fewer, more cohesive items. C. Implement stricter timeboxing for individual tasks within a user story. D. Reassign team members to specialize in specific types of user stories to avoid context switching. Answer: B. Reduce the number of user stories committed per sprint and focus on completing fewer, more cohesive items. Frequent context switching between unrelated items significantly reduces efficiency and productivity in Agile environments. The best solution is to reduce the amount of work in progress, WIP, and focus the team on completing fewer, more cohesive user stories within a sprint. This allows team members to concentrate their efforts, minimize distractions, and achieve a done state more quickly, improving overall flow and throughput. Less is often more when it comes to effective sprint planning. Question 22. A project manager is reviewing the project's financial performance. The analysis shows that the project is currently significantly under budget. While this might seem positive, the project manager is concerned about the implications of this variance. What is the most likely concern the project manager should investigate regarding being significantly under budget? A. The project is ahead of schedule due to efficient resource utilization. B. The initial budget estimates were too generous, leading to inflated expectations. C. The project scope might not be fully delivered, or critical quality activities are being skipped. D. There is an opportunity to reallocate the surplus funds to another organizational project. Answer: C. The project scope might not be fully delivered, or critical quality activities are being skipped. While being under budget might initially seem good, a significant underrun often signals potential problems. It could mean that planned work is not being completed, scope items are being omitted, or critical quality assurance activities are being skipped to save money. The project manager must investigate to ensure that the project is still on track to deliver the full scope and required quality, rather than simply celebrating the budget surplus. A project's success is about delivering value, not just saving money. Question 23. A project manager is initiating a new project in an organization that has recently undergone significant structural changes. Many key stakeholders are new to their roles, and internal processes are still being formalized. What foundational document should the project manager prioritize creating and getting approval for to ensure project alignment and authorization? A. Project Management Plan. B. Stakeholder Register. C. Project Charter. D. Requirements Traceability Matrix. Answer: C. Project Charter. The project charter is the foundational document that formally authorizes the existence of a project and gives the project manager the authority to apply organizational resources to project activities. In an environment with new stakeholders and evolving processes, establishing this formal authorization and clear project objectives, boundaries, and high-level requirements through the charter is paramount for alignment and success. It provides the mandate needed to move forward. Question 24. During project execution, a newly introduced government regulation requires a significant change to one of the core deliverables, which will impact the project schedule and cost. The project manager has analyzed the impact and prepared options. What should the project manager do next, according to effective change management principles? A. Implement the change immediately to comply with the new regulation. B. Inform the project team about the new regulation and instruct them to adapt. C. Submit a formal change request to the Change Control Board for review, approval, or rejection. D. Negotiate with the regulatory body to exempt the project from the new regulation. Answer: C. Submit a formal change request to the Change Control Board for review, approval, or rejection. For significant changes impacting scope, schedule, or cost, especially those driven by external factors like new regulations, a formal change control process is essential. The project manager must submit a formal change request to the Change Control Board, CCB, for evaluation. This ensures that the change is properly assessed for its impact, aligned with project objectives, and formally approved or rejected, maintaining project integrity and stakeholder alignment. Following a structured change process prevents uncontrolled scope creep. Question 25. A project manager is leading a complex project that requires the integration of several off-the-shelf software components. During integration testing, unexpected compatibility issues arise between two key components from different vendors. This was not identified during planning. Which aspect of project performance is most immediately impacted by this situation, and needs the project manager's attention? A. Team performance and motivation. B. Deliverable quality and schedule. C. Benefits realization and business value. D. Organizational governance and compliance. Answer: B. Deliverable quality and schedule. Unexpected compatibility issues during integration testing directly threaten the quality of the final deliverable, as the components are not working together as intended. Resolving these issues will also require additional effort, testing, and potential rework, thereby impacting the project schedule. While other aspects might be indirectly affected, the immediate and direct impact is on the quality of the product and the project's timeline. Your primary focus must be on resolving this technical hurdle. Question 26. A project manager is reviewing the benefits realization plan for a recently completed project. It has been several months since the project closed, and while the deliverables were successfully deployed, the organization has not yet seen the anticipated financial savings. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager, or the organization, to take regarding the benefits realization? A. Close out the benefits realization plan, as the project is already completed. B. Continue to monitor the benefits and implement any necessary adjustments to operational processes to achieve the planned value. C. Blame the operational team for not achieving the expected savings. D. Declare the project a failure due to unachieved benefits. Answer. B. Continue to monitor the benefits and implement any necessary adjustments to operational processes to achieve the planned value. Benefits realization often extends beyond project closure. The project's deliverables enable benefits, but their actual realization depends on operational adoption and ongoing monitoring. Therefore, the project manager, or the business owner, should continue to monitor the benefits and work with the operational teams to make necessary adjustments to processes or utilization to ensure the planned value is eventually achieved. Project success isn't just about delivering outputs, it's about realizing outcomes and benefits. Question 27. The project manager for a large, multi-year construction project is preparing for a stakeholder meeting. The project has recently experienced a significant safety incident that resulted in minor injuries and equipment damage. This incident was unexpected despite robust safety planning. What is the most critical area the project manager should focus on addressing during the stakeholder meeting? A. Presenting an updated project schedule reflecting the impact of the incident. B. Explaining the root cause of the incident, the corrective actions taken, and the preventative measures implemented to avoid recurrence. C. Reassuring stakeholders that the incident will not affect the project budget. D. Announcing a new, stricter disciplinary policy for safety violations. Answer. B. Explaining the root cause of the incident, the corrective actions taken, and the preventative measures implemented to avoid recurrence. When a safety incident occurs, stakeholders are primarily concerned with understanding what happened, how it was addressed, and, most importantly, what steps are being taken to prevent future occurrences. By focusing on the root cause analysis, corrective actions, and preventative measures, the project manager demonstrates accountability, transparency, and a commitment to safety, rebuilding stakeholder trust and confidence. Addressing the why and how to prevent next time is paramount. Question 28. A project team is working in an agile environment and consistently delivers increments at the end of each sprint. However, the product owner frequently finds that features, while coded, are not fully tested or integrated into the main branch, making them difficult to demonstrate or release. What core agile concept is not being consistently applied by the team? A. Velocity. B. Continuous integration. C. Refinement. D. Minimum viable product (MVP). Answer. B. Continuous integration. Continuous integration, CI, is a core agile practice where developers frequently integrate their code into a shared repository, and automated builds and tests are run. The scenario describes features that are coded but not fully tested or integrated, which is a direct violation of CI principles. Proper CI ensures that the increment at the end of a sprint is always potentially shippable, minimizing integration headaches and ensuring quality. If it's not integrated and tested, it's not truly done. Question 29. A project manager is struggling with a highly technical project where the team consistently disagrees on the best technical solution for complex problems. These disagreements lead to prolonged debates and decision paralysis. What conflict resolution technique should the project manager primarily encourage to resolve these technical disagreements effectively? A. Forcing, where the project manager dictates the solution. B. Smoothing, where the differences are downplayed. C. Collaborating/problem solving, encouraging a win-win approach through open discussion and exploring alternatives. D. Compromising, where each side gives up something. Answer: C. Collaborating/problem solving, encouraging a win-win approach through open discussion and exploring alternatives. For highly technical disagreements, collaborating or problem solving is the most effective conflict resolution technique. It encourages open dialogue, mutual understanding of different perspectives, and a focus on finding the best possible solution that satisfies all parties rather than just reaching a compromise. This approach leverages the team's collective expertise and fosters innovation, leading to more robust technical decisions. When smart people disagree, collaboration is usually the path to the smartest solution. Question 30. A project manager is conducting a sprint retrospective. The team identifies that the communication flow between the development team and the quality assurance (QA) team has been inefficient, causing delays in testing and feedback cycles. What improvement action should the project manager recommend to enhance team processes? A. Implement a strict ticketing system for all communication between development and QA. B. Co-locate the development and QA teams, or if not possible, establish dedicated communication channels and regular joint sync-up meetings. C. Assign the project manager as the single point of contact for all communication between the two teams. D. Outsource the QA function to an external vendor to streamline the process. Answer: B. Co-locate the development and QA teams, or if not possible, establish dedicated communication channels and regular joint sync-up meetings. Inefficient communication between dependent teams like development and QA often leads to bottlenecks. The most effective way to improve this is to foster direct, frequent, and informal communication. Co-location is ideal, but if not possible, establishing dedicated virtual channels and regular joint sync-up meetings encourages direct interaction, shared understanding, and quicker resolution of issues, streamlining the testing and feedback cycles. Breaking down silos and promoting direct communication is key. Question 31. A project manager is overseeing a project with very strict quality requirements, where any deviation could lead to significant financial penalties and safety risks. The cost of preventing defects is high, but the cost of failure is astronomical. Which quality management approach should the project manager emphasize throughout the project? A. Acceptance sampling and inspection at the end of phases. B. Cost of quality, COQ, analysis, focusing on appraisal costs to ensure defects are found early. C. Prevention over inspection, investing heavily in quality assurance processes, training, and robust design. D. Customer feedback loops only during user acceptance testing. Answer: C. Prevention over inspection, investing heavily in quality assurance processes, training, and robust design. When the cost of failure is extremely high, the most effective quality management approach is prevention over inspection. This involves investing proactively in quality assurance activities such as robust design, thorough process planning, extensive training, and defect prevention mechanisms from the very beginning. Preventing defects from occurring in the first place is far more cost-effective and safer than trying to find and fix them later. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, especially in high-stakes projects. Question 32. A project manager is managing a public sector project where various government agencies and community groups have conflicting requirements and priorities. Building consensus seems almost impossible, yet their support is critical for project success. Which leadership style or approach would be most effective for the project manager in this scenario? A. Autocratic, making decisions quickly to push the project forward. B. Laissez-faire, allowing all groups to work independently. C. Facilitative and collaborative, seeking common ground and negotiating solutions among diverse stakeholders. D. Directive, clearly outlining the project scope and demanding compliance. Answer: C. Facilitative and collaborative, seeking common ground and negotiating solutions among diverse stakeholders. When dealing with diverse stakeholders with conflicting requirements, a facilitative and collaborative leadership style is essential. The project manager needs to act as a mediator, fostering open communication, understanding different perspectives, identifying common ground, and facilitating negotiations to achieve consensus or acceptable compromises. This approach builds trust and secures the necessary support for the project, even when outright agreement is challenging. Leading through collaboration empowers stakeholders to find shared solutions. Question 33. A project manager is leading a research and development project. Early in the project, the team discovers a novel technical approach that, if successful, could significantly enhance the product's capabilities beyond the initial scope. However, it also introduces additional technical risks and potential schedule delays. How should the project manager address this potential scope change? A. Reject the idea immediately to avoid scope creep and maintain the original baseline. B. Explore the potential benefits, risks, and impacts with the team and key stakeholders, then determine if a formal change request is warranted. C. Implement the new approach covertly, as it offers a superior technical solution. D. Add the new approach to the product backlog for consideration in a future, separate project. Answer: B. Explore the potential benefits, risks, and impacts with the team and key stakeholders, then determine if a formal change request is warranted. In innovative projects, new opportunities can emerge. The project manager should not dismiss such ideas outright but rather explore their potential. This involves collaborating with the team to understand the technical feasibility, benefits, risks, and impact on the project's baselines. Based on this analysis and discussion with key stakeholders, a decision can be made whether to pursue this as a formal change request or to defer it, ensuring proper evaluation and control over the project scope. Innovation requires careful assessment, not immediate rejection or adoption. Question 34. A project manager identifies that a key vendor, crucial for delivering a specialized component, has recently experienced significant financial difficulties. This poses a potential threat to the project's schedule and budget. What risk response strategy best addresses this situation? A. Accept the risk, assuming the vendor will recover. B. Mitigate the risk by finding an alternative vendor or negotiating a performance bond from the current vendor. C. Transfer the risk by requiring the vendor to secure insurance against bankruptcy. D. Avoid the risk by canceling the contract with the current vendor and sourcing the component internally. Answer: B. Mitigate the risk by finding an alternative vendor or negotiating a performance bond from the current vendor. When a key vendor faces financial difficulties, the risk of non-delivery or delays increases significantly. Mitigation strategies aim to reduce the probability or impact of this risk. Options like identifying a backup vendor, diversifying suppliers, or negotiating a performance bond, a guarantee that covers non-performance, directly address the threat by reducing reliance on the at-risk vendor or providing financial protection. Proactive mitigation strengthens your project's resilience. Question 35. During a major construction project, the project manager notices that several team members are experiencing burnout due to prolonged overtime and high-pressure deadlines. This is leading to decreased productivity and an increase in errors. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take? A. Implement stricter deadlines and monitor individual output more closely to improve efficiency. B. Reiterate the importance of the project schedule and motivate the team with bonus incentives. C. Prioritize team well-being by re-evaluating the workload, adjusting the schedule if necessary, and encouraging work-life balance. D. Replace underperforming team members with new hires who can handle the pressure. Answer: C. Prioritize team well-being by re-evaluating the workload, adjusting the schedule if necessary, and encouraging work-life balance. Team burnout is a serious issue that directly impacts productivity, quality, and morale. A servant leader project manager prioritizes the team's well-being. This means addressing the root cause by re-evaluating the workload, making necessary schedule adjustments, and actively promoting work-life balance. A sustainable pace is crucial for long-term project success and maintaining a healthy, productive team. Your team's health is your project's health. Question 36. A project manager is preparing to close out a successful project. All deliverables have been accepted, and final payments have been made. The project manager wants to ensure that all necessary information and assets are properly archived and transitioned. What is the primary reason for performing these activities meticulously during project closure? A. To ensure all project team members receive their final compensation. B. To formally release the project team and organizational resources. C. To enable future access to historical information, support organizational learning, and fulfill contractual obligations. D. To conduct a final performance review of the project management processes. Answer: C. To enable future access to historical information, support organizational learning, and fulfill contractual obligations. Meticulous archiving and transition of project information and assets during closure are crucial for several reasons beyond just administrative completion. They ensure that valuable historical data is available for future projects, organizational process assets, facilitate continuous organizational learning, and ensure all contractual and regulatory obligations regarding documentation are met. This protects the organization and provides valuable insights for improving future endeavors. Don't just finish smartly by preserving knowledge. Question 37. A project manager is leading a complex integration project. Stakeholder engagement has been challenging, with some key stakeholders frequently changing their minds about requirements and others being unresponsive to communication. Which action best demonstrates the project manager's commitment to effective stakeholder engagement? A. Send weekly detailed email updates to all stakeholders, regardless of their level of interest. B. Tailor communication methods and frequency based on each stakeholder's influence, interest, and preferred communication style, actively soliciting their input. C. Exclude unresponsive stakeholders from future decision-making to streamline the process. D. Focus engagement efforts primarily on the project sponsor to simplify communication. Answer: B. Tailor communication methods and frequency based on each stakeholder's influence, interest, and preferred communication style, actively soliciting their input. Effective stakeholder engagement is about more than just sending information, it's about building relationships and ensuring appropriate involvement. The most effective approach is to tailor communication methods and frequency to each stakeholder's specific needs, influence, and preferred style. This proactive and personalized engagement, which includes actively soliciting their input, demonstrates commitment and helps manage expectations, fosters collaboration, and ensures sustained support. One size does not fit all in stakeholder communication. Question 38. A project team is developing a new AI-powered solution. They are using an Agile approach, and the product owner prioritizes adding advanced, innovative features. However, the team is finding it increasingly difficult to meet sprint commitments due to the complexity and novelty of these features, leading to unfinished work at the end of sprints. What should the project manager, or Scrum Master, advise the product owner to do? A. Encourage the product owner to prioritize a balanced mix of innovative features and enabling work, e.g., refactoring, technical debt, to maintain a sustainable pace. B. Extend the sprint length to provide more time for complex features. C. Hire more developers to handle the increased complexity of the innovative features. D. Insist that the team commits to fewer features per sprint, regardless of innovation. Answer: A. Encourage the product owner to prioritize a balanced mix of innovative features and enabling work, e.g., refactoring, technical debt, to maintain a sustainable pace. While innovation is valuable, an Agile team must maintain a sustainable pace and address underlying technical health. If complex features are consistently leading to unfinished work, it indicates a need for balancing feature development with technical enablers like refactoring, addressing technical debt, or research spikes. The project manager should guide the product owner to prioritize work that ensures the product's long-term health and the team's ability to deliver consistently. Sustainable velocity depends on a healthy code base and a focused team. Question 39. A project manager is overseeing a project where the initial scope was defined based on preliminary market research. As the project progresses, new market data suggests that a slight modification to the product's features could significantly increase its market appeal and potential revenue. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take regarding this opportunity? A. Dismiss the new market data, as changes to scope are disruptive. B. Immediately incorporate the new features into the current sprint/work package. C. Analyze the potential benefits and impacts of the change with the team and key stakeholders, then follow the formal change control process if deemed beneficial. D. Inform the sponsor and ask them to make the decision. Answer: C. Analyze the potential benefits and impacts of the change with the team and key stakeholders, then follow the formal change control process if deemed beneficial. Projects should be open to opportunities that enhance value, but changes must be managed formally. The project manager should first thoroughly analyze the potential benefits, costs, risks, and impacts of the proposed scope modification in collaboration with the team. If the analysis shows a clear benefit, then a formal change request should be initiated and processed through the Change Control Board, ensuring all stakeholders are aligned and the baseline is updated appropriately. Value opportunities should be explored, but always through a controlled process. Question 40. A project manager is leading a project that has consistently delivered its increments on time and within budget. However, during a post-implementation review, it's discovered that the operational team is struggling to adopt the new system, leading to lower than expected user satisfaction and minimal benefits realization. Which PMBOK 7th performance domain was likely overlooked or insufficiently addressed by the project manager? A. Planning. B. Delivery. C. Measurement. D. Value delivery. Answer: D. Value delivery. The value delivery performance domain focuses on ensuring the project actually delivers the intended business value and benefits. While the project may have excelled in planning, delivery, of outputs, and measurement, of project progress, the fact that the operational team is struggling with adoption and benefits aren't being realized points to a failure in delivering value. A project is truly successful when it achieves its intended outcomes and benefits, not just when it delivers outputs. Question 41. A new project manager takes over a project mid-execution. They discover that the previous project manager did not maintain a detailed risk register, and potential threats have been handled reactively as they occurred, leading to disruptions and unexpected costs. What should the new project manager prioritize to bring the project's risk management under control? A. Halt all project work until a comprehensive risk register is created and all risks are mitigated. B. Immediately identify the top 5 to 10 current risks, analyze them with the team, and develop response plans to address potential future impacts. C. Blame the previous project manager for the oversight and report it to senior management. D. Focus solely on reactive problem solving as issues arise, given the project's current state. Answer: B. Immediately identify the top 5 to 10 current risks, analyze them with the team, and develop response plans to address potential future impacts. When inheriting a project with poor risk management, the new project manager should not halt progress entirely but prioritize immediately establishing proactive risk control. Identifying the most critical current and potential future risks, analyzing their impact, and developing response plans for them will provide immediate control and prevent further reactive firefighting. This pragmatic approach focuses on gaining control over the most impactful uncertainties first. Start with the most significant risks to get the biggest bang for your buck. Question 42. A project team is constantly bombarded with urgent requests directly from various stakeholders, bypassing the product owner or established channels. This leads to confusion, scope creep, and disruption of planned sprint work. What is the most effective way for the project manager, or Scrum Master, to address this issue? A. Tell the team to ignore any requests not coming through the official product owner. B. Facilitate a meeting with key stakeholders to reinforce the product owner's role as the single point of contact for requirements and prioritize all work through the product backlog. C. Log all direct requests as issues and escalate them to the project sponsor for resolution. D. Assign a dedicated team member to handle all ad hoc stakeholder requests. Answer: B. Facilitate a meeting with key stakeholders to reinforce the product owner's role as the single point of contact for requirements and prioritize all work through the product backlog. Bypassing the product owner leads to uncontrolled scope and team disruption in Agile projects. The project manager's role is to protect the team from external interference and reinforce proper processes. Facilitating a meeting with stakeholders to clearly explain the product owner's role as the single point of contact for all work and emphasizing that all new work must go through the prioritized product backlog will help centralize demand and maintain focus. Clear communication of roles and processes is key to preventing chaos. Question 43. A large project has just completed its initiation phase, and the project manager needs to establish a detailed plan for how the project will be executed, monitored, controlled, and closed. This includes defining processes for scope, schedule, cost, quality, resources, communications, risk, procurement, and stakeholder management. What document is the project manager developing by compiling all of these subsidiary plans? A. Project Charter. B. Work Breakdown Structure, WBS. C. Project Management Plan. D. Requirements Traceability Matrix. Answer: C. Project Management Plan. The Project Management Plan is the comprehensive document that defines how the project will be executed, monitored, controlled, and closed. It integrates and consolidates all the subsidiary management plans, e.g., Scope Management Plan, Schedule Management Plan, Risk Management Plan, etc., and baselines. It serves as the single source of truth for how the project will operate. It's your blueprint for how to run the entire project. Question 44. The project manager receives an email from a key stakeholder expressing dissatisfaction with the current level of project communication. The stakeholder feels they are not receiving timely updates and are unsure about the project's progress. What should the project manager do first to address this stakeholder's concern? A. Send a generic email to all stakeholders outlining the communication plan. B. Schedule a one-on-one meeting with the stakeholder to understand their specific communication needs and preferences, then adjust the communication plan if necessary. C. Ignore the feedback, as some stakeholders are always difficult to satisfy. D. Increase the frequency of project reports without understanding the stakeholder's specific concerns. Answer: B. Schedule a one-on-one meeting with the stakeholder to understand their specific communication needs and preferences, then adjust the communication plan if necessary. When a stakeholder expresses dissatisfaction with communication, the most effective first step is to actively listen and understand their specific concerns. A one-on-one meeting allows the project manager to gather detailed feedback on their preferred communication channels, frequency, and content. This personalized approach demonstrates responsiveness and enables the project manager to tailor the communication plan to better meet that stakeholder's needs, strengthening the relationship and improving satisfaction. Effective communication is about understanding your audience. Question 45. A project is facing significant budget constraints, and the project manager is exploring ways to optimize costs without compromising essential deliverables. The team has identified several non-critical features that could be delivered in a later phase. Which project management principle is the project manager applying by deferring non-critical features? A. Adaptability and resilience. B. Value delivery. C. Holistic thinking. D. Leadership. Answer: B. Value delivery. The value delivery performance domain emphasizes continually evaluating and adjusting to deliver the most important outcomes and benefits. By identifying and deferring non-critical features, the project manager is prioritizing the delivery of higher value items within the budget constraints, optimizing resource allocation to maximize the value delivered to the organization. This ensures that the project focuses its efforts on what matters most for the business. Question 46. A project manager is leading a global project with team members spread across different countries. The team is experiencing frequent misunderstandings due to cultural differences and varying communication styles, impacting collaboration. What should the project manager do to improve cross-cultural communication and team effectiveness? A. Insist that all team members adopt a single, uniform communication style. B. Provide cross-cultural training, encourage empathy, and establish clear communication guidelines tailored to the diverse team. C. Assign a translator for all team communications to avoid misunderstandings. D. Reduce direct team interactions by funneling all communication through team leads. Answer: B. Provide cross-cultural training, encourage empathy, and establish clear communication guidelines tailored to the diverse team. Cultural differences can significantly impact communication and collaboration in global teams. The project manager should proactively address this by providing cross-cultural training to increase awareness and understanding among team members. Additionally, fostering empathy and establishing clear, mutually agreed-upon communication guidelines, e.g., preferred channels, response times, language clarity, tailored to the diverse team's needs will help bridge cultural gaps and improve overall effectiveness. Building cultural intelligence is key to global team success. Question 47. A large-scale government project is experiencing intense scrutiny from the media and various public interest groups due to its high cost and potential environmental impact. The project manager needs to manage this external pressure effectively. Which project management approach or focus area is most critical for the project manager to emphasize? A. Scope control to avoid any further increases in cost. B. Resource optimization to deliver the project more efficiently. C. Business environment awareness and proactive stakeholder communication, including external parties. D. Technical performance, ensuring the project deliverables are of the highest quality. Answer: C. Business environment awareness and proactive stakeholder communication, including external parties. When a project faces intense external scrutiny, understanding and proactively managing the broader business environment, including media and public interest groups, becomes paramount. The project manager must engage in transparent and proactive communication with these external stakeholders, addressing their concerns and managing public perception. This goes beyond internal project controls and requires a focus on external forces that can impact project viability and reputation. Effective external communication is crucial in highly visible projects. Question 48. During a project's execution, an unexpected technical issue arises that requires a significant, complex solution. The project team is highly skilled but has never encountered this specific type of problem before. The solution path is unclear. What is the best immediate step for the project manager to take to address this situation? A. Assign the problem to the most senior technical expert and demand a quick solution. B. Form a temporary problem-solving group involving diverse team members and potentially external experts to brainstorm and explore various solutions. C. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor, requesting them to provide a solution. D. Postpone the task indefinitely until a clear solution becomes apparent. Answer: B. Form a temporary problem-solving group involving diverse team members and potentially external experts to brainstorm and explore various solutions. For complex, unprecedented technical issues, leveraging collective intelligence is key. The project manager should facilitate a collaborative problem-solving approach by forming a temporary group with diverse team members and possibly external experts. This allows for brainstorming, exploring multiple solution paths, and leveraging different perspectives to arrive at the most effective and innovative solution. Empowering the team to solve problems fosters ownership and capability. Question 49. A project manager is overseeing a project where the quality control team is consistently finding defects in deliverables that have already passed initial internal testing. This is leading to rework and delays. What should the project manager do to improve the quality process? A. Increase the number of quality control inspectors to catch more defects. B. Implement quality assurance processes earlier in the development lifecycle, focusing on prevention and process improvement rather than just detection. C. Blame the development team for poor quality and implement performance penalties. D. Outsource quality control to a third-party vendor. Answer: B. Implement quality assurance processes earlier in the development lifecycle, focusing on prevention and process improvement rather than just detection. If defects are consistently being found late in the process, it indicates a need to shift from detection-focused quality control to prevention-focused quality assurance. Implementing quality assurance activities earlier in the development lifecycle, such as rigorous design reviews, code reviews, and process audits, helps identify and correct potential issues before they become defects, reducing rework and improving overall quality. Build quality in, don't just inspect it out. Question 50. A project manager is leading a new product development project. Due to evolving market trends, the product scope needs to be continuously refined and adapted throughout the development lifecycle to remain competitive. Which PMBOK 7th performance domain will be most continuously active and influential in managing this project? A. Planning. B. Uncertainty. C. Development approach and life cycle. D. Delivery. Answer: B. Uncertainty. When market trends are continuously evolving and the product scope needs constant adaptation, the project faces a high degree of uncertainty. The uncertainty performance domain emphasizes continuously evaluating and addressing potential threats and opportunities, including those related to market shifts and evolving requirements. This domain is critical for projects operating in dynamic environments, guiding the project manager to monitor for emerging risks and opportunities and adapt plans accordingly. Navigating an ever-changing landscape requires constant vigilance against uncertainty. Question 51. A project team is developing a new software product using an Agile framework. During a sprint review, a key stakeholder criticizes the user interface, UI, stating it is not intuitive, despite the team having followed the agreed-upon design mockups. What is the most important takeaway for the project manager from this situation? A. The team should stick strictly to the mockups to avoid scope creep. B. User stories should include more detailed UI specifications. C. The importance of engaging users and stakeholders early and continuously in UI/UX design and gathering feedback on usability. D. The team needs to increase its velocity to deliver features faster. Answer: C. The importance of engaging users and stakeholders early and continuously in UI/UX design and gathering feedback on usability. Even if mockups are followed, if the end users find the UI unintuitive, it means the actual user experience isn't meeting their needs. This highlights the critical importance of continuous user and stakeholder involvement throughout the UI/UX design process. Early and frequent feedback on usability, often through prototypes and user testing, ensures the design evolves to be truly intuitive and user-friendly, preventing late-stage dissatisfaction and rework. Design with your users, not just for them. Question 52. A project manager is struggling with resource contention across multiple projects within the organization. Critical shared resources are overallocated, leading to delays and conflicts. What should the project manager do to address this issue from a broader organizational perspective? A. Demand that the project gets priority for all shared resources. B. Escalate resource conflicts to individual functional managers for resolution. C. Collaborate with other project managers and the Program Management Office, PMO, to facilitate resource leveling and optimization across projects. D. Hire temporary contract resources for all critical roles to avoid internal conflicts. Answer: C. Collaborate with other project managers and the Program Management Office, PMO, to facilitate resource leveling and optimization across projects. Resource contention across multiple projects is an organizational-level problem that individual project managers cannot solve in isolation. The most effective approach is to collaborate with other project managers and the PMO, if one exists. The PMO often plays a key role in resource management, enabling portfolio-level resource leveling and optimization to ensure resources are allocated strategically and efficiently across all projects, minimizing conflicts and delays. Work together to manage shared resources effectively. Question 53. A project manager receives a request from a high-level executive to incorporate a new, non-standard feature into the project. This feature was not part of the initial scope and would require significant re-engineering. The executive states it's a must-have. What should the project manager's first step be? A. Immediately agree to the request and inform the team to start implementing the feature. B. Politely decline the request, citing the impact on the project baseline. C. Document the request, assess its impact on scope, schedule, cost, and quality, and then discuss with the executive and sponsor before initiating the formal change control process. D. Implement the feature discreetly and inform the executive after it's done. Answer: C. Document the request, assess its impact on scope, schedule, cost, and quality, and then discuss with the executive and sponsor before initiating the formal change control process. Even requests from high-level executives must be managed through a structured change control process to maintain project integrity. The project manager's first step is to analyze the request's impact on all project aspects: scope, schedule, cost, quality, risks. After this analysis, a discussion with the executive and project sponsor is crucial to align on the business value versus the impact, before initiating a formal change request if it is deemed beneficial and approved. Never just say yes or no, always assess first. Question 54. A project manager is conducting a sprint review, and while the team has delivered all committed features, the product owner expresses disappointment because the spirit of one of the user stories wasn't captured, despite the literal requirements being met. This indicates a gap in understanding the underlying business need. Which Agile value is most directly being challenged in this scenario? A. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. B. Working software over comprehensive documentation. C. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. D. Responding to change over following a plan. Answer: C. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. This scenario perfectly illustrates a failure in customer collaboration. While the team delivered working software and followed the plan, user story as documentation, the lack of deep collaboration with the product owner meant they didn't fully grasp the true spirit or underlying business need. Agile emphasizes continuous, close collaboration with the customer, product owner and stakeholders, to ensure the delivered solution truly solves their problem, rather than just mechanically fulfilling a documented requirement. Collaborating ensures you build the right thing, not just the thing requested. Question 55. A project manager is leading a project that involves a significant level of innovation and experimentation. There are many unknowns, and the team needs flexibility to explore different options and learn along the way. Which PMBOK 7th performance domain will be most prominent in guiding the project manager's actions in this environment? A. Planning. B. Delivery. C. Development approach and life cycle. D. Measurement. Answer: C. Development approach and life cycle. When a project involves significant innovation, experimentation, and many unknowns, the choice and continuous tailoring of the development approach and life cycle becomes paramount. This performance domain focuses on selecting and evolving the most suitable approach, e.g., adaptive, hybrid, iterative, that allows for flexibility, learning, and adaptation based on emerging information and discovery. Choosing the right how is critical when the what is still evolving. Question 56. The project team is in the execution phase, and the project manager realizes that the planned quality metrics for one of the key deliverables are outdated and do not reflect current industry best practices or stakeholder expectations. What should the project manager do to address this situation? A. Continue using the outdated metrics to avoid disrupting the project baseline. B. Update the quality metrics immediately and retroactively apply them to past deliverables. C. Consult with stakeholders and quality experts to review and update the quality metrics, then submit a change request for approval. D. Remove all quality metrics to reduce complexity. Answer: C. Consult with stakeholders and quality experts to review and update the quality metrics, then submit a change request for approval. Quality metrics should be relevant and aligned with current best practices and stakeholder expectations to ensure proper quality control. If they are outdated, the project manager should proactively engage relevant stakeholders and quality experts to review and update them. Any change to the quality baseline, including metrics, should then be formally approved through the change control process to maintain project integrity and ensure all parties are aligned. Quality standards are living things, they need to be current and relevant. Question 57. A project manager is leading a complex project involving multiple vendors. During a routine review, it's discovered that one vendor consistently delivers components with minor defects, requiring rework by the internal team. This issue was not anticipated in the contract. What is the most appropriate action for the project manager to take? A. Accept the defects as part of doing business and absorb the rework cost. B. Issue a formal complaint to the vendor and demand a refund for defective components. C. Initiate a discussion with the vendor to understand the root cause of defects and collaborate on a corrective action plan and potential contract amendment. D. Immediately terminate the contract with the vendor and find a new one. Answer: C. Initiate a discussion with the vendor to understand the root cause of defects and collaborate on a corrective action plan and potential contract amendment. When a vendor consistently delivers defective components, a collaborative approach is often the most effective first step, rather than immediate termination or punitive actions. The project manager should engage in a discussion to understand the root cause of the quality issues and work with the vendor to develop a corrective action plan. This fosters a partnership, aims to resolve the underlying problem, and may involve a contract amendment if solutions require it. Building strong vendor relationships can turn problems into opportunities for improvement. Question 58. A project team is highly experienced and self-organizing. The project manager believes in empowering them to make decisions and solve problems independently. However, some team members are new to the organization's specific tools and processes. Which aspect of team performance should the project manager focus on to support these new team members without stifling the experienced members? A. Implementing strict process adherence guidelines for all team members. B. Providing targeted training and mentoring for new members, while allowing experienced members autonomy. C. Assigning only simple tasks to new members until they are fully proficient. D. Reducing overall team autonomy to ensure everyone follows the same process. Answer: B. Providing targeted training and mentoring for new members, while allowing experienced members autonomy. Empowering a self-organizing team means providing them with the necessary support and resources. For new members, this involves targeted training on organizational tools and processes and pairing them with experienced mentors. This approach helps new members quickly integrate and contribute effectively without imposing unnecessary restrictions on the autonomy of the entire, highly skilled team. It's about providing the right support at the right time to specific individuals. Question 59. A project manager is overseeing a project to develop a new internal knowledge management system. The goal is to improve information sharing and collaboration across departments. However, initial user feedback indicates low adoption rates due to a steep learning curve and a lack of perceived value. Which PMBOK 7th performance domain is most directly indicating a shortfall in this scenario? A. Planning. B. Project work. C. Delivery. D. Value delivery. Answer: D. Value delivery. The scenario explicitly states low adoption rates due to a steep learning curve and a lack of perceived value, which directly points to a failure in the value delivery performance domain. While the system may have been delivered, project work/delivery, and planned, if users aren't adopting it and perceiving its value, the intended benefits are not being realized. A project's success is ultimately measured by the value it brings to the organization and its users. Question 60. A project team is working on a complex project with several external dependencies and highly specialized skills required from specific team members. The project manager observes that a few critical paths are at risk due to delays in receiving necessary inputs from external parties. What type of diagram would be most useful for the project manager and team to visualize these critical paths and dependencies for better management? A. Histogram. B. Bar chart, Gantt chart. C. Network diagram, e.g., activity on node. D. Burn-down chart. Answer: C. Network diagram, e.g., activity on node. A network diagram, specifically an activity on node diagram, is specifically designed to visualize the logical relationships, dependencies, between project activities and identify the critical path. This visual representation helps the project manager and team understand the sequence of work, pinpoint critical activities, and identify where delays in external inputs will directly impact the project's overall completion date. You can't effectively manage what you can't clearly see. Question 61. A project manager is conducting a risk identification session with the project team. The team lists several potential threats, but many of them seem vague and unquantifiable. The project manager wants to ensure a thorough and useful risk register. What technique should the project manager use to refine these identified risks? A. Perform a qualitative risk analysis, focusing on probability and impact to prioritize. B. Conduct a root cause analysis to understand the underlying drivers of the vague risks. C. Use the Delphi technique to get expert opinions on the likelihood and impact of each risk. D. Focus on clarifying the risk statement, identifying specific triggers, and potential impacts for each vague risk. Answer: D. Focus on clarifying the risk statement, identifying specific triggers, and potential impacts for each vague risk. Before risks can be effectively analyzed or responded to, they must be clearly defined. If risks are vague, the project manager should work with the team to clarify the risk statement, e.g., using if-then statements, identify the specific events or conditions, triggers, that would signal the risk's occurrence, and detail the potential impacts if the risk materializes. This clarity is fundamental for subsequent qualitative and quantitative analysis. You can't manage a ghost, you need to define it first. Question 62. A project manager is leading an Agile project, and during sprint planning, the team commits to a certain number of story points. However, consistently over the past few sprints, the team has been unable to complete all committed work. What is the most probable reason for this consistent pattern, and what action should the project manager suggest? A. The team is not working hard enough, the project manager should enforce longer working hours. B. The estimates are inaccurate, the team should collaboratively re-evaluate their estimation process and adjust future commitments based on actual velocity. C. The product owner is adding too many stories, the project manager should restrict the product owner's involvement. D. there are too many external interruptions, the project manager should isolate the team from all stakeholders. Answer: B. The estimates are inaccurate. The team should collaboratively re-evaluate their estimation process and adjust future commitments based on actual velocity. Consistently failing to complete committed work in Agile sprints usually indicates that the team's capacity or their estimation of work is inaccurate. The project manager, acting as a servant leader, should guide the team to reflect on their velocity from previous sprints and use this empirical data to collaboratively re-evaluate their estimation techniques and adjust future sprint commitments. Agile principles emphasize sustainable pace and realistic planning based on proven capacity. Learn from your past performance to plan better for the future. Question 63. A project manager is managing a critical infrastructure project in a densely populated urban area. During excavation, an unexpected underground utility line is discovered that was not on any maps, requiring immediate rerouting and posing a significant safety hazard. Which PMBOK's seventh performance domain is most severely impacted by this discovery, demanding immediate attention? A. Stakeholder. B. Project work. C. Delivery. D. Uncertainty. Answer: D. Uncertainty. The discovery of an unexpected underground utility line perfectly exemplifies an unanticipated risk or uncertainty that has materialized. The uncertainty performance domain deals with addressing risks, opportunities, and emergent situations. This unexpected event requires immediate attention to understand its impact, develop a response, and adapt the project plan to mitigate the threat and potentially leverage any opportunities. Dealing with the unknown is the core of managing uncertainty. Question 64. A project manager is assembling a new, cross-functional project team. To maximize their effectiveness from the outset, the project manager wants to clearly define roles, responsibilities, and reporting relationships for all team members. What tool or document is most suitable for this purpose? A. Project schedule. B. Responsibility assignment matrix, e.g., RACI chart. C. Risk register. D. Communication management plan. Answer: B. Responsibility assignment matrix, e.g., RACI chart. A responsibility assignment matrix, like a RACI chart, responsible, accountable, consulted, informed, is an excellent tool for clearly defining and communicating roles and responsibilities for specific tasks or deliverables within a project. It helps prevent confusion, reduces duplication of effort, and ensures that all necessary roles are covered for each activity, fostering clarity and accountability within the team. Everyone needs to know their part to play effectively. Question 65. A project is nearing its end, and the project manager is tasked with ensuring all contractual obligations with external vendors are met and formally closed. This includes verifying deliverables, settling final invoices, and releasing all associated legal documents. What key process is the project manager performing? A. Project closeout. B. Contract administration. C. Procurement closure. D. Final payments. Answer: C. Procurement closure. The activities described, verifying deliverables, settling final invoices, and releasing legal documents related to external vendors, fall under the procurement closure process. This formal process ensures that all procurement-related activities are completed, and contracts are formally closed, fulfilling all contractual obligations. It's a critical step to legally and financially close out the relationship with external parties involved in the project. Question 66. During a daily stand-up meeting in an Agile project, a team member reports being blocked by a dependency on another team's deliverable. This has happened multiple times. The project manager, Scrum Master, wants to address this recurring impediment effectively. What is the most effective way to address this recurring cross-team dependency? A. Ask the team member to directly follow up with the other team until the blocker is resolved. B. Escalate the issue to senior management to enforce cooperation between teams. C. Facilitate a discussion with the dependent teams to establish clear communication protocols, shared understanding of priorities, and potential service level agreements, SLAs, for inter-team deliverables. D. Reassign the task to another team member to avoid the dependency. Answer: C. Facilitate a discussion with the dependent teams to establish clear communication protocols, shared understanding of priorities, and potential service level agreements, SLAs, for inter-team deliverables. Recurring cross-team dependencies indicate a systemic issue with coordination and communication, not just an isolated blocker. The project manager should proactively facilitate a discussion between the dependent teams to establish clearer communication protocols, align on priorities, and potentially agree on service-level agreements, SLAs, for internal deliverables. This collaborative approach helps create predictable interfaces and fosters better inter-team collaboration, resolving the root cause of the impediment. Break down those inter-team walls. Question 67. A project manager is conducting a quantitative risk analysis for a high-value project. One identified risk has a 30% chance of occurring, and if it does, it will result in a cost impact of $100,000. What is the expected monetary value, EMV, of this specific risk? A. $30,000. B. $70,000. C. $100,000. D. $130,000. Answer: A. $30,000. Expected monetary value, EMV, is calculated by multiplying the probability of a risk occurring by its monetary impact. In this case, the EMV is 0.30, 30% probability, multiplied by $100,000, monetary impact, which equals $30,000. EMV helps in quantitatively assessing the financial exposure to risks and informs decision-making regarding risk responses. It's about figuring out the average financial consequence if you were to face this risk many times. Question 68. A newly formed project team is struggling with establishing effective working relationships and defining shared processes. There's some internal conflict and a lack of clear direction. According to Tuckman's stages of team development, which stage is this team most likely experiencing? A. Performing. B. Storming. C. Norming. D. Forming. Answer: B. Storming. The storming stage of Tuckman's stages of team development is characterized by conflict, disagreement, and challenges to leadership as team members try to establish their roles and opinions. The struggles with establishing working relationships, internal conflict, and lack of clear direction are all hallmarks of this stage. The team is trying to figure out who's in charge and how do we work together. Question 69. A project manager has identified a high-priority risk that could severely impact the project's ability to meet regulatory compliance, leading to legal action. The organization has very little expertise in this specific regulatory area. Which risk response strategy is most appropriate in this situation? A. Accept the risk, assuming external experts will advise if issues arise. B. Mitigate the risk by conducting internal training on the new regulations. C. Transfer the risk by hiring a specialized compliance consulting firm and making them contractually responsible for compliance. D. Avoid the risk by significantly reducing the project's scope to bypass the regulation. Answer: C. Transfer the risk by hiring a specialized compliance consulting firm and making them contractually responsible for compliance. When facing a high-priority risk that falls outside the organization's expertise, especially with significant legal implications, transferring the risk is often the most appropriate strategy. By engaging a specialized compliance consulting firm and contractually making them responsible for ensuring compliance, the risk and its potential impact are largely shifted to a third party better equipped to handle it. You're effectively buying expertise and shifting the burden. Question 70. A project team is working in a predictive environment. Due to a sudden market shift, a critical requirement for the product needs to change significantly. The project manager has evaluated the impact and created a detailed analysis. What is the project manager's next step to manage this change in a traditional project? A. Immediately implement the change as it is market-driven. B. Update the project management plan and baselines to reflect the change. C. Convene the Change Control Board, CCB, to present the analysis and seek formal approval or rejection. D. Inform the project team to halt work until further instructions. Answer: C. Convene the Change Control Board, CCB, to present the analysis and seek formal approval or rejection. In a predictive project, any significant change to a baseline, like scope, schedule, or cost, must go through a formal change control process. After analyzing the impact, the project manager's next crucial step is to present the change request and its analysis to the Change Control Board, CCB. The CCB is responsible for reviewing, evaluating, and formally approving or rejecting changes, maintaining project integrity and control. Following this process is key to preventing uncontrolled scope creep. Question 71. A project manager is leading an Agile project. During a sprint, a team member identifies a significant technical issue that, if left unaddressed, could impact the performance of several future features. This issue is not directly related to the current sprint's user stories. How should the project manager, Scrum Master, and team handle this technical issue? A. Add it to the current sprint backlog, immediately halting work on other user stories. B. Document it as a technical debt item and encourage the product owner to prioritize it in a future sprint's backlog. C. Ignore it, as it is not part of the current sprint's commitment. D. Ask the individual team member to resolve it during their personal time. Answer: B. Document it as a technical debt item and encourage the product owner to prioritize it in a future sprint's backlog. In Agile, significant technical issues that aren't part of the current sprint's commitment but impact future work should be documented as technical debt. The project manager, or Scrum Master, should then work with the product owner to ensure this technical debt is prioritized and added to the product backlog for consideration in an upcoming sprint. This balances immediate feature delivery with maintaining the long-term health and sustainability of the product. Address technical debt proactively to avoid bigger problems later. Question 72. A project manager is performing project monitoring and control activities. They observe that the project team is frequently exceeding the planned hours for specific tasks, leading to cost overruns, even though the tasks are being completed on time. What should the project manager investigate first? A. The accuracy of the initial time estimates for these tasks. B. The team's motivation and willingness to work efficiently. C. The quality of the deliverables being produced by the team. D. External factors impacting the team's ability to focus. Answer: A. The accuracy of the initial time estimates for these tasks. If tasks are consistently taking more hours than planned, even if completed on time, the primary investigation should focus on the accuracy and realism of the initial time estimates. It suggests that the baseline for effort was fundamentally flawed. Addressing this ensures future planning is more realistic and helps in understanding the true cost and resource needs. Always question your assumptions and estimates when performance deviates. Question 73. A project manager is defining the scope for a new software product. The product will integrate with several existing legacy systems within the organization. There is a high risk of scope creep due to unclear boundaries and integration points. What is the most effective way to prevent scope creep in this situation? A. Write extremely detailed requirement specifications for every feature. B. Implement a robust change control process and clearly define the product and project boundaries in the scope statement. C. Allow stakeholders to define requirements freely throughout the project. D. Focus on delivering an MVP and address integration issues in a later phase. Answer: B. Implement a robust change control process and clearly define the product and project boundaries in the scope statement. Preventing scope creep, especially with complex integrations, requires clear definition and strict control. The most effective approach is to meticulously define the product and project boundaries in the scope statement, and potentially the work breakdown structure for predictive projects, detailing what is in and out of scope. Crucially, this must be coupled with a robust change control process to manage any proposed additions or alterations formally. Clear boundaries plus disciplined change management equals scope control. Question 74. A project manager has just completed the project, and all deliverables have been accepted by the customer. The project team is now beginning to disband. What is the most critical activity for the project manager to perform during the final stages of project closure beyond simply getting acceptance and disbanding the team? A. Submit final invoices for payment. B. Facilitate the capture of lessons learned and archive project documentation for future reference. C. Conduct individual performance reviews for team members. D. Celebrate the project's success with the team. Answer: B. Facilitate the capture of lessons learned and archive project documentation for future reference. While getting acceptance, disbanding the team, and celebrating are important, the most critical activity for organizational learning and future success during project closure is facilitating the capture of lessons learned and archiving all relevant project documentation. This ensures that valuable knowledge gained from the project's successes and failures is preserved and accessible, allowing the organization to continuously improve its project management practices. Don't just finish a project, learn from it. Question 75. A project manager is leading a project that is consistently falling behind schedule. The team is demotivated, and communication is breaking down, leading to a blame culture. What should the project manager prioritize to turn the project around? A. Implement stricter monitoring and control measures, including daily progress reports. B. Focus on rebuilding team trust, improving communication, and identifying root causes of delays collaboratively with the team. C. Escalate the issues to the project sponsor and request additional resources. D. Replace team members who are perceived as underperforming. Answer: B. Focus on rebuilding team trust, improving communication, and identifying root causes of delays collaboratively with the team. A demotivated team, communication breakdowns, and a blame culture are clear indicators of underlying team health issues that directly contribute to schedule delays. The project manager must prioritize rebuilding trust and improving communication within the team. This involves active listening, fostering a psychologically safe environment, and collaboratively identifying the root causes of delays. Addressing these foundational issues will naturally improve performance and motivation, leading to better schedule adherence. Fix the team dynamic, and the schedule will follow. Question 76. A project manager is preparing to procure highly specialized software licenses from a single, dominant vendor in the market. The vendor's pricing is non-negotiable, and there are no alternative suppliers. What type of contract would be most suitable for this procurement, given the circumstances? A. Fixed price contract. B. Cost reimbursable contract. C. Time and materials, T&M, contract. D. Purchase order, which is typically a type of fixed price. Answer: A. Fixed price contract. Given that the vendor's pricing is non-negotiable and there are no alternative suppliers, a fixed price contract is the most suitable choice. In this scenario, the buyer, the project, has limited leverage. A fixed-price contract ensures that the cost is known upfront and shifts the risk of cost overruns primarily to the seller. While negotiation isn't possible on price, the terms of delivery and performance are still crucial to define clearly. You know the price, so lock it in. Question 77. A project manager identifies that a key stakeholder, who has significant influence, is resistant to the project's proposed solution due to concerns about its impact on their department's established processes. What is the most effective strategy for the project manager to engage with this resistant stakeholder? A. Ignore their resistance, as the project has executive sponsorship. B. Escalate their resistance to the project sponsor for resolution. C. Engage in one-on-one dialogue to understand their concerns, involve them in problem solving, and highlight the benefits of the new solution for their department. D. Present a formal presentation to convince them of the solution's superiority. Answer: C. Engage in one-on-one dialogue to understand their concerns, involve them in problem solving, and highlight the benefits of the new solution for their department. When a powerful stakeholder is resistant, direct and empathetic engagement is crucial. The project manager should seek to understand the root cause of their resistance, often through one-on-one dialogue. Involving them in problem solving and clearly articulating the specific benefits and advantages the project will bring to their department helps to overcome resistance and turn them into project advocates. It's about empathy and finding common ground, not just dictating. Question 78. A project team is developing a highly innovative product where the exact final requirements are expected to evolve significantly throughout the project. The team wants to deliver value quickly and adapt as they learn more from early user feedback. Which overall project life cycle approach is best suited for this project? A. Predictive life cycle. B. Iterative life cycle. C. Incremental life cycle. D. Adaptive life cycle. Answer: D. Adaptive life cycle. An adaptive life cycle, often synonymous with Agile methodologies, is best suited for projects where requirements are highly uncertain, subject to rapid change, and evolve throughout the project. This approach emphasizes continuous learning, frequent feedback loops, e.g., from early users, and the ability to adapt quickly to new information. It allows for delivery of value in small, frequent increments while continuously refining the overall direction. When you don't know exactly where you're going, you need to be able to steer quickly. Question 79. A project manager is reviewing a recent quality audit report. The report indicates several non-conformances with established organizational standards and best practices, despite the project team claiming they are meeting project-specific quality requirements. What should the project manager's primary concern be? A. The team is focusing too much on organizational standards instead of project requirements. B. The audit report is flawed and does not accurately reflect the project's quality. C. The project's quality management plan and processes may not be adequately aligned with organizational governance and best practices, posing a risk to overall organizational quality. D. The project team needs more training on specific quality tools. Answer: C. The project's quality management plan and processes may not be adequately aligned with organizational governance and best practices, posing a risk to overall organizational quality. If a project, even if meeting its own specific quality requirements, is non-conforming with broader organizational standards, it indicates a potential misalignment between the project's quality approach and the organization's overall governance and quality framework. This poses a risk not only to the specific project but also to the organization's consistent quality, reputation, and ability to scale best practices. Projects must align with the organization's larger quality ecosystem. Question 80. A project manager is struggling to get accurate progress updates from team members. Some members consistently over-report progress, while others underreport, leading to an unreliable overall project status. What should the project manager do to improve the accuracy of progress reporting? A. Implement a more frequent and detailed reporting template for all team members. B. Establish clear, objective progress metrics, e.g., done criteria, task completion definitions, and coach team members on accurate reporting, fostering psychological safety. C. Conduct surprise audits of individual work to verify reported progress. D. Assign a dedicated progress reporter for the team. Answer, B. Establish clear, objective progress metrics, e.g., done criteria, task completion definitions, and coach team members on accurate reporting, fostering psychological safety. Inaccurate progress reporting often stems from unclear definitions of done or a lack of psychological safety where team members fear admitting delays. The project manager should establish clear, objective definitions of what constitutes progress or completion for tasks and deliverables. Equally important, coaching team members on how to report accurately and fostering an environment where honesty is valued, psychological safety, will encourage reliable reporting. Clarity and trust are fundamental to accurate reporting. Question 81. A project manager is trying to forecast the completion date of an activity with uncertain durations. The activity has an optimistic estimate of 8 days, a most likely estimate of 12 days, and a pessimistic estimate of 22 days. Using the three-point, triangular, estimate method, what is the estimated duration for this activity? A. 14 days. B. 12 days. C. 16 days. D. 10 days. Answer, A. 14 days. The three-point, triangular, estimate method calculates the estimated duration as optimistic plus most likely plus pessimistic, /3. In this case, 8 plus 12 plus 22, /3 is equal to 42 /3 is equal to 14 days. This method provides a simple average estimate when a weighted average, like PERT, is not used, helping to account for uncertainty in activity durations. It gives you a quick, easy average of your range of possibilities. Question 82. A project team is utilizing a Kanban board to manage their workflow. The project manager notices that tasks frequently get stuck in the "in progress" column, and new tasks are often pulled in before current ones are finished, leading to bottlenecks. What Kanban principle is being violated, and what should the project manager recommend? A. Transparency, increase the visibility of work. B. Visualize the flow, use more colors on the board. C. Limit work in progress, WIP, enforce WIP limits to encourage finishing current tasks before starting new ones. D. Manage flow, introduce more steps in the workflow. Answer, C. Limit work in progress, WIP, enforce WIP limits to encourage finishing current tasks before starting new ones. When tasks get stuck and new ones are pulled in prematurely, it directly violates the Kanban principle of limit work in progress, WIP. WIP limits are designed to prevent overloading the system, encourage the team to focus on completing current tasks, identify bottlenecks quickly, and improve flow. The project manager should help the team enforce and adhere to these limits. Don't start a new task until you finish the one you're working on, it improves flow. Question 83. A project manager is leading a project that requires a high degree of precision and adherence to strict specifications. Any deviation from these specifications could result in regulatory non-compliance and product recalls. Which quality concept should the project manager prioritize during the project's execution? A. Quality inspection. B. Quality assurance. C. Quality control. D. Quality planning. Answer, C. Quality control. While quality planning and assurance are important upfront, quality control is the operational process focused on monitoring specific project results to determine whether they comply with relevant quality standards and identifying ways to eliminate causes of unsatisfactory performance during execution. In a project requiring high precision and strict adherence to specifications, rigorously performing quality control measures, like measurements, testing, and inspections, is paramount to ensure deliverables meet those exact standards and avoid non-compliance. Quality control is about checking the work to make sure it matches the plan. Question 84. A project manager has determined that the project is running significantly behind schedule due to unexpected technical challenges. To get back on track, the project manager is considering two options, crashing or fast-tracking. The project needs to meet a non-negotiable deadline. Under what circumstances would fast-tracking be a more suitable option than crashing? A. When the project budget is ample, and additional resources can be easily acquired. B. When additional costs are acceptable, but there is low risk associated with parallel activities. C. When there are activities that can be performed in parallel, and the risk of rework or increased complexity is acceptable. D. When the project schedule does not have any logical dependencies that can be overlapped. Answer: C. When there are activities that can be performed in parallel, and the risk of rework or increased complexity is acceptable. Fast tracking involves performing activities in parallel that would normally be done in sequence. This reduces overall project duration without necessarily incurring additional direct costs, but it increases risk, as rework or coordination challenges may arise due to overlapping activities. It's suitable when there are opportunities to overlap tasks and the project manager assesses the associated risk of increased complexity or rework as acceptable given the deadline. Fast tracking is about squeezing the schedule by doing things at the same time, but it's riskier. Question 85. The project manager of a critical IT infrastructure upgrade project realizes that the business case, upon which the project was authorized, is no longer valid due to a sudden downturn in the market and a shift in organizational strategy. The project is still in its early stages. What is the most ethical and responsible action for the project manager to take? A. Continue the project as planned, hoping the market recovers. B. Immediately pause the project and inform the project sponsor, presenting the updated business environment analysis and recommending re-evaluation or cancellation. C. Accelerate the project to complete it before the business case's invalidity becomes widely known. D. Modify the business case to align with the project's current progress. Answer: B. Immediately pause the project and inform the project sponsor, presenting the updated business environment analysis and recommending re-evaluation or cancellation. A project's continued viability hinges on its alignment with the organizational strategy and a valid business case. If the business case becomes invalid, it's unethical and irresponsible to continue expending resources on a project that no longer serves its intended purpose or delivers value. The project manager must immediately pause the project, inform the sponsor, and present the updated analysis, recommending a re-evaluation or outright cancellation. Don't throw good money after bad. Question 86. A project manager is leading a diverse team, and notices that one team member, a subject matter expert, is consistently dominating discussions and dismissing alternative viewpoints. This is stifling creativity and discouraging other team members from contributing. What should the project manager do to encourage broader team participation and collaboration? A. Conduct all future discussions asynchronously via email to give everyone a chance to contribute. B. Privately coach the dominating team member on active listening and encourage others to speak up by facilitating structured discussions and inviting diverse perspectives. C. Publicly reprimand the dominating team member during the next meeting. D. Assign individual tasks to avoid group discussions altogether. Answer: B. Privately coach the dominating team member on active listening and encourage others to speak up by facilitating structured discussions and inviting diverse perspectives. A project manager's role includes fostering a collaborative and inclusive team environment. When one member dominates, it stifles others. The project manager should privately coach the dominating individual on active listening and constructive participation. Concurrently, during team meetings, the project manager should facilitate structured discussions, actively invite quieter members to share their perspectives, and create a psychologically safe space for all voices to be heard. Building a balanced team dynamic is essential for harnessing collective intelligence. Question 87. A project manager is planning for procurement of highly customized equipment. Due to the unique specifications, there are only a few potential suppliers worldwide. The project manager wants to ensure competitive pricing despite the limited market. Which procurement document would be most suitable to solicit proposals and potentially encourage innovative solutions from these few specialized suppliers? A. Request for quote RFQ. B. Invitation for bid, IFB. C. Request for proposal, RFP. D. Purchase order, PO. Answer: C. Request for proposal, RFP. A request for proposal, RFP, is ideal when the scope of work is complex, and the buyer needs technical expertise and innovative solutions from the sellers. For highly customized equipment with limited suppliers, an RFP allows vendors to propose how they will meet the requirements, including their approach, methodology, and pricing, rather than just providing a direct quote for a well-defined item. This encourages competitive and creative solutions from specialized vendors. When you need solutions, not just prices, an RFP is your go-to. Question 88. A project manager is leading a project that needs to comply with new, stringent data privacy regulations. The legal team has provided a detailed list of requirements, but the technical team is unsure how to implement them effectively and ensure ongoing compliance. What should the project manager do to bridge this gap and ensure compliance throughout the project? A. Instruct the legal team to simplify the requirements for the technical team. B. Engage regulatory experts to provide training to the technical team and establish a compliance verification process within the project plan. C. Proceed with the project as planned, assuming the technical team will figure it out. D. Assign the legal team full responsibility for all technical compliance aspects. Answer: B. Engage regulatory experts to provide training to the technical team and establish a compliance verification process within the project plan. Ensuring compliance with stringent regulations requires more than just knowing the rules, it requires understanding how to implement them effectively. The project manager should proactively bridge the gap between legal requirements and technical implementation by engaging regulatory experts to provide targeted training to the technical team. Additionally, integrating a robust compliance verification process into the project plan ensures that adherence is continuously monitored and validated throughout the project lifecycle. Compliance must be built in, not just bolted on. Question 89. A project manager is updating the project schedule. A key deliverable has been completed ahead of time, but the subsequent activities cannot start earlier due to fixed external dependencies, e.g., government approval processes. How does this situation impact the overall project schedule? A. The project will finish earlier than planned. B. The critical path will shorten significantly. C. The float/slack of the completed activity and its successors will increase, but the project end date will remain unchanged. D. The project schedule will be unaffected, as the dependency is external. Answer: C. The float/slack of the completed activity and its successors will increase, but the project end date will remain unchanged. When an activity finishes early but its successor activities are constrained by fixed external dependencies, the early completion does not necessarily shorten the overall project duration. Instead, the free float, or slack, for the completed activity and its immediate successors increases. This means there is now more flexibility for those activities, but the project's overall end date, dictated by the critical path and fixed dependencies, remains unchanged. Finishing early only helps if the next activity can actually start early. Question 90. The project manager is managing a project team that consistently struggles to meet deadlines. Upon investigation, it's revealed that team members are frequently distracted by requests from operational departments, pulling them away from project tasks. What is the most effective action for the project manager to take? A. Ask the team members to politely decline requests from operational departments. B. Implement a buffer of extra time in the schedule for all future tasks. C. Negotiate with operational department managers to establish a formal process for handling non-project requests or to shield the project team from such interruptions. D. Increase the team's working hours to compensate for the interruptions. Answer: C. Negotiate with operational department managers to establish a formal process for handling non-project requests or to shield the project team from such interruptions. Frequent interruptions from operational departments cause significant project delays and team demotivation. The project manager must act as a protector of the team's focus. The most effective approach is to proactively engage with the operational department managers to establish clear boundaries, a formal process for legitimate non-project requests, or strategies to shield the project team from unnecessary interruptions, ensuring they can focus on their project work. Protect your team's focus, and they'll deliver. Question 91. A project manager is overseeing a product development project using a hybrid approach. The core software development is Agile, but the hardware component procurement and manufacturing follow a predictive approach. Stakeholders are confused by the different methodologies. What is the most effective way for the project manager to manage stakeholder expectations and communication in this hybrid environment? A. Insist that all stakeholders adhere to the Agile practices of the software development team. B. Develop a comprehensive communication plan that clearly explains the different life cycles, their interdependencies, and tailored reporting for each component. C. Separate the project into two independent projects, one Agile and one predictive. D. Focus communication only on the predictive hardware component, as it is more tangible. Answer: B. Develop a comprehensive communication plan that clearly explains the different life cycles, their interdependencies, and tailored reporting for each component. In a hybrid project, managing stakeholder expectations and communication is key due to the blend of methodologies. The project manager should develop a comprehensive communication plan that clearly articulates which parts of the project use which life cycle, how they integrate, and how progress will be reported for each component. Tailoring reporting to match the different approaches helps reduce confusion and ensures stakeholders receive relevant information in a format they understand. Transparency and tailored communication are vital for hybrid project success. Question 92. The project manager is presented with a critical risk event that has just occurred, causing an immediate disruption to the project schedule. This risk was previously identified and analyzed, but the planned response strategy proved ineffective. What is the project manager's immediate next step? A. Document the failure of the risk response and close the risk. B. Revert to the original project plan, ignoring the impact of the risk. C. Implement the predefined contingency plan or workaround, and then analyze the effectiveness of the initial response and update the risk management plan. D. Immediately escalate to the sponsor, asking for a new risk response. Answer: C. Implement the predefined contingency plan or workaround, and then analyze the effectiveness of the initial response and update the risk management plan. When a risk materializes and its initial response fails, the immediate action is to implement the predefined contingency plan or develop an appropriate workaround to address the immediate impact. After stabilizing the situation, the project manager should then analyze why the initial response failed, update the risk management plan, and potentially redefine future strategies to improve risk response effectiveness. It's about acting quickly on the pre-planned fallback and then learning from the experience. Question 93. A project manager observes that team members are constantly asking for clarifications on assigned tasks, leading to delays and rework. This suggests that the initial work assignments are not clear enough. What is the most effective way to improve clarity and reduce ambiguities in task assignments? A. Conduct individual one-on-one meetings to clarify each task with each team member. B. Implement a stricter performance review process to hold team members accountable for understanding tasks. C. Improve the decomposition of work, ensure clear acceptance criteria for tasks, and encourage direct communication and questions during planning. D. Develop a detailed instructional manual for every task. Answer: C. Improve the decomposition of work, ensure clear acceptance criteria for tasks, and encourage direct communication and questions during planning. Unclear task assignments are a common cause of delays and rework. The project manager should focus on improving the clarity of work decomposition, breaking down larger deliverables into manageable tasks, and defining clear, done criteria or acceptance criteria for each task. Additionally, fostering an environment where team members feel comfortable asking questions and seeking clarification during planning sessions is crucial for ensuring shared understanding before work begins. Clarity upfront prevents confusion later. Question 94. A project manager is leading a critical software project. A key deliverable has just passed internal quality checks, but the project manager is concerned about its usability and alignment with user expectations, which are often subjective and difficult to test through automated means. What type of testing or review should the project manager prioritize next to address these concerns? A. Regression testing. B. Performance testing. C. User acceptance testing, UAT, with actual end users. D. Security testing. Answer: C. User acceptance testing, UAT, with actual end users. While internal quality checks ensure the software functions correctly, they often don't fully cover usability or alignment with user expectations. User acceptance testing, UAT, conducted by actual end users or their representatives, is specifically designed to validate if the system meets the business needs and is fit for purpose from the user's perspective, including subjective aspects like usability and intuitiveness. To truly know if users will adopt and value the product, you must involve them. Question 95. A project manager is establishing a new project office for a large program. They need to define how the project's progress will be monitored, deviations analyzed, and corrective actions implemented. This includes defining key performance indicators, KPIs, and reporting cadences. Which PMBOK 7th performance domain is the project manager primarily addressing? A. Planning. B. Measurement. C. Project work. D. Delivery. Answer: B. Measurement. The measurement performance domain focuses on evaluating project progress and performance, comparing it against the plan, and generating insights to support decision-making. By defining how progress will be monitored, deviations analyzed, corrective actions implemented, and establishing KPIs and reporting cadences, the project manager is directly addressing the core principles of effective measurement to keep the project on track and inform stakeholders. You can't manage what you don't measure, and you can't improve what you don't analyze. Question 96. During a project, a newly introduced regulatory change could potentially invalidate a key technology component planned for use. The project manager has evaluated the impact, and it's substantial, but the exact legislative details are still being finalized. Which risk response strategy is most appropriate at this early stage of uncertainty about the regulation? A. Avoid the risk by switching to an alternative, compliant technology immediately. B. Exploit the risk by lobbying to influence the final regulation in the project's favor. C. Mitigate the risk by developing a contingency plan for a compliant alternative, and monitor the legislative developments closely. D. Accept the risk and wait for the regulation to be fully enacted. Answer: C. Mitigate the risk by developing a contingency plan for a compliant alternative, and monitor the legislative developments closely. When a significant risk is identified but its exact impact or trigger is still uncertain, e.g., pending legislation, a proactive mitigation strategy is most appropriate. Developing a contingency plan, e.g., identifying a compliant alternative technology, prepares the project for the worst-case scenario, while closely monitoring the situation allows for timely adaptation. This approach balances preparation with avoiding premature, potentially costly, full-scale changes. Be prepared, but don't overreact until you have more clarity. Question 97. A project manager needs to estimate the cost of a unique software development project. There are no similar historical projects within the organization, and the scope is somewhat undefined. Which estimation technique would be most suitable for this scenario, providing a rough order of magnitude estimate? A. Analogous estimating. B. parametric estimating. C. 3-point estimating, PERT. D. Expert judgment. Answer: D. Expert judgment. When a project is unique, has an undefined scope, and lacks historical data for analogous or parametric estimating, expert judgment becomes the most suitable technique. This involves consulting individuals with specialized knowledge or experience in similar, albeit not identical, projects or technologies. While it may provide a rough order of magnitude, ROM, estimate initially, it leverages invaluable insights from those who have navigated similar complexities. When you don't have data, you rely on experience. Question 98. A project manager notices that the project team is highly skilled but has become very reliant on the project manager for every decision and problem-solving step. This is creating a bottleneck and slowing down progress. What leadership approach should the project manager adopt to empower the team and foster self-organization? A. Increase directive oversight to ensure consistency in decision-making. B. Transition towards a servant leadership style, coaching the team to solve problems independently and facilitating their efforts. C. Delegate more tasks to individual team members without providing guidance. D. Reduce the frequency of team meetings to force independent problem solving. Answer: B. Transition towards a servant leadership style, coaching the team to solve problems independently and facilitating their efforts. When a team becomes overly reliant on the project manager, a shift towards servant leadership is appropriate. This involves moving away from directive control and instead focusing on coaching the team to develop their problem-solving skills, removing impediments, and facilitating their autonomy. This empowers the team to become more self-organizing and reduces bottlenecks, ultimately improving overall project efficiency and team morale. Your role shifts from telling to enabling. Question 99. A project manager is overseeing a product launch. A critical regulatory approval is required, but the process is highly complex and involves multiple external agencies. There is a risk that this approval could be delayed, impacting the launch date. Which PMBOK 7th performance domain is most directly related to managing such external interfaces and ensuring necessary external approvals? A. Planning. B. Project work. C. Business environment. D. Delivery. Answer: C. Business environment. The business environment performance domain emphasizes managing the external factors that influence a project, including regulatory, legal, political, and economic influences. Obtaining critical regulatory approvals from external agencies falls squarely within this domain, as it requires understanding and navigating the broader context in which the project operates. Effectively managing these external interfaces is crucial for the project's success and compliance. Projects don't exist in a vacuum, they operate within a larger environment. Question 100. During a daily stand-up meeting, a project team member reveals that they have been working on a feature that was deprioritized by the product owner 2 sprints ago, believing it was still important. This was due to a misunderstanding of the updated product backlog. What is the most immediate implication of this situation for the project, and what should be done? A. The team member should be reprimanded for not following instructions. B. The project needs a stricter change control process. C. It indicates a lack of transparency and proper backlog refinement. The project manager should ensure the product backlog is regularly refined and visible to the entire team. D. The product owner needs to be more assertive in communicating changes. Answer: C. It indicates a lack of transparency and proper backlog refinement. The project manager should ensure the product backlog is regularly refined and visible to the entire team. A team member working on deprioritized items points directly to issues with product backlog transparency and effective refinement. The project manager, or Scrum Master, needs to ensure that the product backlog is continuously refined, well understood by the entire team, and always visible as the single source of truth for work. Clear visibility and regular communication about backlog changes prevent misunderstandings and ensure the team is always working on the highest priority items. Everyone needs to be on the same page regarding what's important right now.